And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. And the Buck and I are with you for the next 2 hours, talking plenty of Texas Longhorns sports. Another big basketball game for the Texas men coming up tonight. We'll talk some Texas baseball. The Longhorns will play their first midweek game of the season. We've got some Texas football news, notes, and nuggets from winter workouts, the latest storylines from the NFL and college hoops and the Olympics, plus a number of big news stories and a wild Olympics story. They're running out of protection across the pond.
Oh,
If you know what I mean. Plus,
how do you do that?
A tip for kids in the car line. I don't know. There's still a lot of Olympics left, and they're already out. It makes no sense. We'll get to the details a little bit later. We are locked and we are loaded and we are ready to rock and roll on a Tuesday. We appreciate y'all spending some of your Tuesday with us. How are you today, my man?
I am good. It's going to be another beautiful day. Yesterday was beautiful. Today looks like we're going to have a even better looking day today. Feels like 55. High today, 81 degrees today, BK. We're getting there. We're almost there. We'll be there soon enough. Yeah, we'll be in the 90s and everything will be fine once again.
No.
Everything will be back to normal here in the state of Texas.
You might be the only person complaining about the weather we're getting this week.
It's a little chilly today.
Little chilly, high of 82?
Yeah, we can warm that up a little bit. Come on, y'all.
We don't need anything warmer than that. This is perfect. We're getting an actual spring here in Central Texas. This is not normal for us.
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of springy outside.
So
but it's weird. Spring, it's February. It's still
I know.
It's funny. It's supposed to be 6 weeks of still winter going on.
Yeah, piece of shit Phil or whatever his name is did not have any idea what he was talking about. Maybe he doesn't give forecasts for our area.
Just the Pennsylvania and surrounding areas, the surrounding Jersey, New York, Ohio, maybe. That's as far as he gets, probably is Ohio.
Yeah, plenty of
let's
reasons.
give him West Virginia, too.
Give him West Virginia, too? Yeah, he can have West Virginia. That's fine. I mean, plenty of reasons why I'm happy we live here instead of in any of those places you just mentioned. And yeah, the fact that we're getting 80-degree temps in mid-February is near the top of the list for sure.
No doubt about it. Good morning to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you for what you do. We do appreciate what you do for all of us, all you EMS workers out there, emergency workers, nurses, doctors. Thank you also for being there for us, and do be safe out there, please.
Yes, indeed. No radio show today. Texas baseball is playing Kendrick Lamar at 5 o'clock.
Oh, Kendrick is back.
Kendrick is back in town. I don't recall a Texas Longhorn baseball game starting as early as this one will tonight, but that's the case. Obviously, Texas men's basketball has a game as well, so plenty happening on the zone. But no Bucky and BK on the radio side of this evening. So you get us and you get unfiltered us on a Tuesday show, which should be fun. But also you get a tip for kids in the car line from the Buck. What you got for the kiddos this morning, sir?
Well, the most difficult thing to do is to act. The rest is merely your tenacity, kids. That's right. The most difficult thing to do is actually act on something. But the rest of it is your tenacity. It's all about your tenacity.
Well, that's a big word.
A tough word. Is that a big too big a word for the kids? Tenacity.
I'm not sure I know what that means. So there's no way the kids know what that means.
Well, tenacity is your ability to go get it done. Your eagerness to get something done. Give yourself a timeline. Get after it with everything you have. Give it your best shot. That's kind of what tenacity always meant to me, giving it your best shot, not just half-assing it, but giving it everything you got to get something done, whether it's a goal or, get something accomplished in school, your school work, your sports work, whatever it is. If you're putting a mini bike together and you're doing it by hand and not, putting the engine in, give it everything you can to make it the best, mini bike there is.
You think kids are doing that?
kids are kind of creative. They can do some things. I mean, you know, I used to be good in the home ec room.
You were putting engines in mini bikes back in home ec class?
No, I was doing cakes, scrambling eggs, doing all those good things.
Yeah, I don't think the kids are doing that either.
Making a pie.
Oh, man. They still teach home ec?
No, they don't have home ec. They don't have shop classes. I shouldn't say that. I don't think they do home ec, but I think they may still have some shop classes. I mean, people have to work on engines. People that, there are jobs in air conditioning and heating, which comfort systems. Those people make a pretty good living. You got to be pretty smart to deal with that. I can't. That's why I call on them.
Yeah, well, they don't teach that in school. I mean, you do other training for that.
Oh, they used to have that. They used to have that kind of training.
They used to teach you how to repair an air conditioning unit in school. There's no way.
No, not doing an air conditioning, but teaching you some of those skills, welding, things like that. How to some guys would go off, guys who worked in the steel mills. When I went off to college, they were taking their stuff that they got in high school and learning how to work those things in the steel mills in Pennsylvania in the 70s. And I went off to college and played football and came back and still worked in the damn steel mills without any training. You know what I'm saying?
They were all your bosses by the time you got in there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. 4 years later, 5 years later, I'd go back there and those dudes were like making $25 an hour. Their dads worked there all their lives, but their dads went to, they got all that stuff from, you did stuff like worked on cars in high school. I had guys that, classmates that worked on cars. Now, most of that was in the public school. I was in the Catholic school. We didn't even have a damn track team, much less have stuff where you had working on cars and stuff. But most of the public schools in my city, in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, had all that stuff. And you worked on cars at all the public schools. You learned how to do all that stuff.
Yeah, $25 an hour back then is like $1 million an hour nowadays. So
My
that's
goodness.
crazy. But yeah, when I was growing up, I had home ec and shop class. I think in middle school. Maybe those were offered in high school, but I don't recall taking any of those things in high school because I knew I didn't want to work in any steel mills or do any welding.
No, that's why I didn't take any of that. I was like, dude, I'm going to college. Yeah. I said, my mom always said, you're going to college no matter what. You ain't going to be working on any cars. You don't have to worry about working in the steel until you came back. After you got cut from the Giants, you came back and was like, I got to do something for a living here.
Yeah, I was taking newspaper class in high school because I knew I wanted to be a journalist. I wasn't wasting my time with any hacksaws or hand saws or any kind of saws. So, yeah, but that was a thing for me. Again, in middle school, like I know I took both of those, and I have no idea if the kids still take it. I'd be too worried putting this generation of children in front of power tools because I feel like staring at your cell phone in one hand and operating a power tool with the other
really
is not a recipe for success.
Yeah, here's one of the guys says he was doing home ec stuff all the way into the 90s.
I was doing it in the 2010s.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never had to
around at least,
you didn't have to worry because you had computer stuff. I had typing classes.
Yeah. Oh, we had that
typing classes. Oh God. Really?
Yeah. We had typing class. That was more of an elementary school thing.
They don't teach writing anymore. They don't teach handwriting.
I feel like they do to the young kids, don't they? We're talking out of our rear ends here, clearly, because neither of us have kids who are in grade school.
No.
So I'm sure they still teach handwriting. They have to still teach handwriting. I don't know if they teach cursive like they did back in the day.
Well, Catholic school, you had to do all the cursive stuff. That was it. And my mom had, I can tell you, years and years, my mom had the most beautiful handwriting I've ever seen. She used those pens. They didn't have ballpoint pens. They had the dipping ones that had the stuff, the pen, the ink inside of it. She was so good. And her punctuation was excellent. I mean, she was incredible. She was a professional secretary. So for me, I don't know where to put the I's, the dots, the question marks. I know if I ask you a question, I can throw a question mark down there.
Your handwriting is dog shit, dude.
Yeah, I know.
It is so hard to read. I just try to pick up one out of every 4 words just to kinda get a gist of where you're going, but
Yeah, but I'm more like a doc see that because I consider myself a doctor. So my handwriting is, yeah, very similar to doctor. Thank you very much.
you are Doctor William Cannon, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So that's what it is.
We are a couple of doctors here. You're Doctor William Cannon. I'm Doctor Brody Lane, MD.
There you go. So yeah, I did typing. I was very good. I was good at typing. I got going at that stuff. I liked it because my mom always had a typewriter around. She could fly. I mean, that thing was like ding, ding, ding. That little bell was going off all the time.
I was gonna make that joke, but apparently it's not a joke. You're talking about typewriter typing, not computer typing.
Oh no, no, you're talking about computer typing. I was talking
Yeah.
about real typewriter. No, no, no. Back in the 70s, it was, dude, it was typewriter.
God. Old. You're
That's how
old.
you sent out your resume was on a typewriter.
You were good at that? I find it hard to believe considering
I
how
was
slow you are with
oh
actual
no.
typing.
Oh no, I was good, dude. I was
I
very good. I mean,
like
that's why I miss my BlackBerry. Once I got used to hitting the buttons without even looking down, I mean, I would go through all that stuff and just go.
hmm.
These new phones and everything that we're talking about, I have so much trouble even thinking about it. And then what's going on in the computer world now, you and I just talked about an event and I'm going www dash dot hashtag what I mean, I can't do any of that stuff now.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is a true story. Right before we started this morning, I was asking Bucky for a website, and he's like, okay, write this down, BK.
HTT.
HTTP 2 dots slash slash. I'm
I
like,
mean,
dude.
I have no clue what that stuff is. I mean, I couldn't exist in the computer world. There's just no way.
Oh my God. I'm like, we don't need any of that. And then you're like, I don't need any of that either. Just get to the good stuff.
You mean the
And
dots? That's .com. Is that all I need? I
yeah,
only have to say W one time, right?
you don't even need that anymore. You just type in youtube.com and it will take you to youtube.com. That's simple.
That's simple.
That's simple. Yeah, you don't need to
Why all
waste your
the why all
time.
the letter? Why do they waste the time of all the letters and stuff?
The
Just for
World Wide
newcomers like
Web.
myself?
Do you see at the top of your screen, like at the very top of your computer screen, where it says StreamYard, the website that we're on?
Yes.
Okay. See how there's no www before that?
It says live StreamYard on X.
Uh,
Is that what I'm looking at?
I don't know. You know, don't touch anything. I'm worried you're gonna
Oh no, I'm
disappear
not going to touch anything.
and not find your way back. But the internet has changed. The World Wide Web is different now, Buck.
Yeah, I mean, I see even in the right-hand corner of this computer, it says need help. What the hell does that mean? What if I hit need help? Don't touch it.
Uh, don't touch it. Oh, I see that. That's on StreamYard. That's not a computer thing. That's just this thing that we're using to live stream this show right now.
I
So,
love it. I mean, I like as time goes on, time marches on, things just they change by the day.
um,
And when the AI hits us and you and I aren't, well, they'll always need us. They won't be able to AI what we do.
I,
People
I'm a
people
little
always
concerned about me.
no, they always need an honest answer. They always need that human part of it. They don't even want somebody that, lives within you. They want you. That part won't change. I
Yeah.
don't believe.
I think you and I are pretty safe with what we do. I mean,
Yeah. The behind the scenes people, yes.
oh my gosh, there are a lot of industries out there that are just getting ransacked by AI, and the
Yeah.
job force is seemingly shrinking by the day because of artificial intelligence. So we're creating our own demise out there. But don't worry, I'm on the side of the machines. So screw you, people.
That's
Remember
right.
that.
You've always been on their side. That's the thing.
I've been on the machine side for 20 years, man. I was so worried
Wow.
about Y2K as a 6-year-old that I'm always team technology. All right. Humans, y'all are done. Computers, we're moving on. We're going to last forever. I'm
Wow.
saying we. I'm on that team now.
You're on that team.
All right. So we're having some fun, obviously, on a Tuesday. We'll get to a lot of sports, and we've got some other crazy stories to dive into. We could start with some sports, Buck. How about some Texas basketball tonight? Back in action, 8:00 on the SEC Network. The Longhorns hosting LSU. Check the Vegas line right before we get on the air. Texas is a 10.5-point favorite. You know, last year Texas played at LSU and the Longhorns won by 31. I wouldn't hate, obviously, new coach for Texas and new rosters for both sides, but I would really enjoy a stress-free Tuesday night victory at the Mood this evening.
And I think that's what it's going to be. I think all said and done, I think you're going to get a 15-point or more win tonight. I think everybody's going to play well tonight at home. It's one of those, hey, I had a couple of days off. Let's get back to it. You know, where we've escaped a couple of these really close ball games. You know, we've run over some people too late in the second half, but now it's time to play a solid game straight through. I think they get one tonight.
I don't think Texas has played a stress-free game this season. Like, their largest margin of victory in SEC play, I shouldn't say this season, right? They beat up on some nobodies in the non-con and
sure.
Never worry about any of those. But I'm talking about since conference play began. The Longhorns' biggest SEC victory was the Georgia game where Texas won by 20. Texas was down at halftime in that one. They just played their best half of the season in the second half to turn a deficit into a blowout victory. Like this past weekend against Missouri, that was Texas's second largest margin of victory in the SEC. They won that by 17. Texas was up by 2 at halftime. They trailed for the majority of the first half in that game. So I get it. These teams are good. Like LSU has talented pieces, but this is the worst team in the conference. They're tied for last. You get them at home. LSU's leading scorer is not going to play tonight. Their second leading scorer missed their most recent game on Saturday against Tennessee, so he's a game-time decision tonight. So this is like, if there is a recipe that's set up for what you're talking about and what I'm talking about, this is it tonight.
Yeah, to take advantage of this game.
That'd be nice. And hopefully more of the same. A bit of a quicker turnaround with the Tuesday night game. But look, LSU's dealing with it too. They also played on Saturday, and they're the team that has to travel here. And, my hope is, like, Texas is a much better team than LSU. Even if LSU was fully healthy, Texas is still a much better team. Right. But the hope is, like, they don't just coast. There's been a lot of good things being said about this Texas basketball team on this show and by Longhorn fans everywhere. Like, you can't just totally no show tonight.
Yeah, because you're still not good enough to do that.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, look, any win would be good for Texas. You're not getting a lot in terms of moving up on your NCAA tournament seeding with a win, but you're avoiding moving down with a win. And you've done too much good in the last 3 weeks to lose a game at home to 2-10 LSU.
You don't want this particular coach after this game talking about you in the post game.
Oh,
because this is one where he could go off. If you come in here lollygagging after some of the tough games that you played in this tough stretch, and you won some nice games and you've been in some dogfights, and a team you're supposed to beat, you come into the game and just kind of lollygag and you're in a dogfight. And even if you win, you don't want this particular guy on you. This would not be good for the basketball team right now.
No.
You don't need another wake-up call. You've already had a few of those, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And since the time we started talking about this game, the line has actually gone up. I just refreshed my ESPN app, and Texas is now an 11.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm saying 15 or more. They need to go, and everybody needs to get well. The guys who haven't been well, that have been scoring, under what they should be doing and under playing defense, put number 10 in there, let that dude go play again. Let that ball bounce off of his head into the basket, whatever it takes, whatever he's doing, let him continue to get a little bit better. You'll need him down the stretch here.
Yeah, hopefully we do see more of Nick Cody, who was one of the unsung heroes from the win at Missouri. Unsure if Lucina Traore will be ready to go. This feels like the type of game you can rest him because you've got much bigger fish to fry down the stretch in SEC play. So you should be able to win against LSU in your own barn without that dude. So, yeah, I mean, Nick Cody's kind of your first big man off the bench. He's not really that big. He's 6'8", but he's the guy who's going to come in for Modest, and you would like to get him some run. But hopefully it's not just run. Hopefully it looks pretty similar to what we saw him do over the weekend.
Absolutely.
9
Absolutely.
points.
The more time he gets in the game, the more experience he gets and the more comfortable he feels around the people that are there. And like I said, he's a garbage man anyway. So garbage in, garbage out, garbage in the basket. Who
We
cares?
I like the nicknames you've created for some of these basketball players. You've got what, Larry, Moe, Curly, and
Oh,
Pope for Jordan Pope, right? And then
yes.
oh no, that was for Julian Larry. Sorry, Julian Larry was one of the Three Stooges.
Good
You've got the
Lord.
herky jerky lefty for Tremont Mark.
Yeah, and by the way, the herky jerky lefty needs to get some more scoring too. These little 18 and 17-point games, he needs to be in the mid 20s or in order to me, I'm telling you, what is his average? 18, right?
Nah, I don't think it's that high. I'll pull it up real quick.
I thought you said it was 18. Maybe yesterday we talked about it, or the day before. I think maybe
No,
close to
Tremont
18.
Mark, Dalen Swain is at about 18. He
Oh,
leads
okay.
the
Dalen
team.
Swain, yeah.
Tremont Mark is at 13.2 points per
Yeah,
game.
that dude needs to be the guy who's at 18. And the other guy, Swain, needs to be the guy who's at 24 or whatever. I mean, in order for them to continue when the tournament starts and get into those second weekends and stuff, those guys have to really up their game. Now, Swain, boy, it's hard to tell that dude to up his game because he's scoring for a lot of other people. You know what I'm saying? But Mark needs to get back to being the herky jerky lefty that gets and like I said, he's hitting that 15-footer. He's making some baskets, but he needs to be that physical guy going to the rim a little bit more. He's kind of been laid back. That jumper's been working good for him, BK. He hasn't had to go to the rack that often until late in games when they're down or something's getting real tight. But he's hitting his 15-footer, so he feels good and feels comfortable. But I like him when he's really more aggressive going to the hole.
Well, he's an old man who has an old man's game.
I know.
Talking about a 6-year senior who's 24 going on 25, and he's starting to play like the rec league out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But now he's starting to just shoot jumpers. I need him to get back to being aggressive at the hoop.
Yeah, look, it'd be nice. I mean, I like Tremont Mark and Jordan Pope. I think this team kind of goes as those guys go. Like Modest and Dalen Swain have been so consistent. They're not perfect every night. They both had some off days, but way more often than not, those guys deliver. I expect them to get the job done in any given game. But Pope and Mark, those are the guys like if they up their game and play well, then this Texas team can hang with almost anybody in the country. But if those two guys are off, it can't just be Dalen Swain and Modest Vocatitis doing everything for this team.
I agree.
Those guys are seniors. They're experienced. They're returnees from last year. Like, these are dudes you should be able to rely on to give you more on a nightly basis than you have. Now, Jordan Pope played great at Missouri. Tremont Marks had plenty of great games this year, but I would like to not have to talk about those guys having an off night seemingly every other game that Texas plays.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they were pretty consistent every time they hit the court,
Yeah.
Or even better than that, just a little bit above average at times. And I mean, I obviously I've been watching other teams play basketball. I did watch that damn Iowa-Houston game, and there is no comparison, but I try to compare some of the individuals that play on Houston. That Houston's got that freshman guard that's totally ridiculous. That 6'4" guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't expect Pope to be like that because he's not 6'4". He can't guard a soul. And people can guard him pretty easy if they get their hands up. But that kid is, you're talking about some players, man.
I think there are only two things you can compare Jordan Pope with Kingston Flemings. They both play basketball, and they both play basketball in the state of Texas. And I think that's
right.
where the
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, Kingston Fleming, that guy's going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. So
he's going to be out of there. He's going to be out of there this year, isn't he?
One and done. Yeah, Houston's not known for the one and dones, but they've got one with that kid who's a stud. Yeah, I mean, those are, look, Houston was number 2. Iowa State was number 6 in the country going into last night. And that was a great game, right? The Cyclones overcoming a 10-point second-half deficit, outscoring Houston 17-4 over the final 7 minutes to get that 3-point win. The Hilton Magic, which is really just refs calling a bunch of stuff to give Iowa State games at home, that showed up last night. But yeah, those teams are on a different level than Texas. Now, looking at bracketologies right now, like Joe Lenardi this morning released his latest, and he has Texas as a 9 seed. That's the highest he's had the Longhorns all season long. That's great. So that means in round 1, you'd play an 8 seed, right? A team kind of equal talent to you. But if you win that game, barring a colossal 16-1 upset, you'd have to be playing a team like Houston or Iowa State in the round of 32, and that would likely be – look, if Texas makes the round of 32, we'll call it a successful season for year one.
Yes.
I find it tough. I mean, the closest thing we'll get, because there's not a 1 seed in the SEC this year. There's not a 2 seed in the SEC this year. Florida, the defending national champs, will be in town, 1 week from tomorrow, I think, is when that game is. So Texas will play LSU tonight, at Georgia on Saturday, and then the Gators will be here next week in the midweek. Like, that's the closest. Florida's the best team in the SEC. So that will be sort of your barometer. Like, if Texas can upset Florida next Wednesday, then it's like, all right, maybe this can be a team that plays in the second weekend. But as of now, look, the goal is to still get in the tournament, and then if you could find one win, that feels like a realistic goal for Longhorn hoops in 2026.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you're right. They can't compete with those. I mean, the Big 12 from, that top part of the Big 12 is so really good. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And I'm glad it's like this, because remember last year the SEC had the best year any conference in college basketball has ever had. And forever it was the Big 12 was the best conference. And it's like, oh my God, seriously? We leave the Big 12. This is the one sport we're supposed to get a reprieve. And now the SEC is better. And then now that was just a 1-year thing. Like the Big 12 is the best conference in college basketball. And it's entertaining to watch from afar. And it's nice not having to compete against, Houston, Kansas, Iowa State, Arizona, the likes of those squads year in and year out. Typically Baylor's in there. They're having a horrible season this year, but it is a.
I just noticed the thing that they have is they have a second big man. All these teams has a second dude that's, he's not 7 foot, but he's 6'9", 6'10", and physical. Texas just doesn't have that guy, or they may have him, but that dude doesn't score. He's just in there to take up space.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, those teams definitely have more depth on their rosters and
big
more
man
size.
depth. Texas just hadn't had big man depth in a while. Since some of those guys that went off and played in the NBA after a couple of years, they just decided, well, I'm not going to stay here for 1 more year. Somebody take me in the NBA, and then they turn out to be pretty good players in the NBA.
Yeah, you're right. Texas had that long stretch of one and done big men, right? I mean, the Jarrett Allens of the world, Mo Bamba, Jackson Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
Ty Jones, not necessarily a big man, but 6'8", 6'9".
You see that with the Baylors and the Kansas and Iowa State. I mean, you see that with Houston. They got some other big guy like, well, he doesn't score that much, but damn, can he jump? And he can block shots and he can rebound and he's aggressive. Texas doesn't have one of those guys. That's why the other day with number 10 in the game, I'm like, let that guy play. He's going to get knocked around because although you said he weighs 220, looks like he weighs 190. He's going to get knocked around, but at least, the ball finds him somehow. Whether, like I said, whether it's off his shoulder or it hits him in the head, and he gets a header for 2 points. Who cares?
The garbage man, as you call him.
He is a garbage man, man. I like that. I like the way he plays. Give him more garbage.
I'm giving you a homework assignment. I need you to watch this game tonight and then jot down nicknames for every player on this Texas basketball team. You've got a few done already. Yeah. But I like where your head's at with some of these names that you've got here.
Well, the hidden one, Heidi, doesn't need to be hiding anymore. I still think they still need to make more offense for Heidi. He doesn't need to be the Heidi guy. He needs to be the guy that they set some picks and let him, shoot and hit some of these shots. Now, I know he was 0 for 6 the other night.
Yeah.
This is one of those nights for him, BK, where all of a sudden that dude takes a team like LSU and just throttles them with 3-point shots.
The hidden Heidi.
Yeah.
What do we call him? We call him Ann Heidi. He's like, what, hiding in an attic somewhere? I mean, what's –
Yeah. He doesn't need to be Heidi anymore. He needs not to be Heidi. He needs to be there. He needs to set the offense around the Heidi, the hidden one,
Yeah, well, that's the hope, is that he's hidden to opposing defenses and they forget about him and he's just wide open for a 3 on the wing.
Well, he gets a lot of those. Those guys know that they throw it out to him.
Yeah, well, he's not a create his own shot kind of guy.
No.
So he relies on somebody driving, the defense collapsing, the kick out, and boom, he's going to bury an open 3 very often.
And he's good. He'll go to the rim. Sometimes he finishes. Most of the times he just gets fouled.
Right. He's a great athlete, but he doesn't have the lateral speed, I think, to take guys off the
No.
dribble. So, yeah, look, it was nice. Texas won that Missouri game by 17, despite 0 from Cam Heide. So they're showing, like, because Cam Heide has emerged a little bit, because Sim Wilcher has given you a little something. Nick Cody obviously gave you a solid performance on Saturday. Like, it's nice to have secondary scoring. It felt like a few weeks ago it was the big four. That was it. Like, it was Swain, Modest, Pope, and Mark. Those were your only offense. Now you're getting some other contributions from some of those other cats, and that's much appreciated.
Where they once again, they continue to make your free throws and go to the free throw line. They're pretty good at that.
Yeah, 100%. Now that's one of the strengths of this Texas team. They are third in the nation in free throw rate this year, and they shoot the free throws at a pretty high clip as well. They've been a lot better at knocking them down as the season has gone along. So, yeah, look, it's a big part of why they have the 6th most efficient offense in college basketball right now. And you're playing, again, a bad team at home, chance to maybe creep into the top 5. I mean, obviously, some of this depends on what happens around the country throughout the course of the week, but Texas can have a good offensive showing and maybe flirt with 90 points in this one tonight. Then we might be creeping up even higher in the offensive efficiency department.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like I said, it's not a good time to play a bad game. It's a good time to play a fantastic game and build on what you're doing.
I don't know if there's ever been a bad time to play a fantastic game.
Yeah, I mean, for this team, I always think they're going to be in a dogfight. Either they're going to come out, I'd like for them to come out fast, but I know that eventually there's going to be a lull that they hit, and the other team's going to come within 3 or 4 points, and it's going to be, oh my God, what are we doing now? And then they'll figure it out in the second half, and they'll run. And they should just run and high from this team from the beginning to the end.
Texas is going to be down like 10-4 tonight, and it's like, are you serious? And then they'll be playing catch up, but they'll take a lead and they'll distance themselves in the second half. I've already told myself it's not going to be like wire to wire what I want. I know what I want. I know what we all want, but they're going to have to work for it tonight. It's just human nature is going to set in. Again, they're being patted on the back by everybody right now. They know LSU sucks. They know they're down a couple of guys, and they're going to come out
like this. Like you said, you wouldn't think it's a team like this when you've got the Pope, the herky jerky lefty, got the big man in the middle. These are guys who have experience. They're not like young kids that don't understand how you should do things. It's like you got a team that you're way better than. Just beat the crap out of them.
Pope Jordan.
Yeah, well, don't foul the shit out of them. Just beat them.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Texas LSU tonight, 8:00 on the Zone and on SEC Network. We will dive back into the sports. We got some Longhorn football news, notes, and nuggets to get to from winter workouts. But before we get to that, Buck, how about our first round of sponsor shout-outs?
All right, the tip for kids was brought to you by our good friends over at Relax the Back. They approach a holistic approach based on 35 years of proven expertise. And, folks, they do a fantastic job. I'm in my chair today feeling good after my little jog on Sunday morning. Now my back is feeling great. I sat in this chair yesterday. Did not sit in the big taco watching the Olympics, watching hockey. I sat in the chair, and I'll be taking this chair out again. I know I should go ahead and buy one of those nice recliners that they have over there. That's what I need to do, get myself a recliner. But then again, I'd be falling asleep in it, so I'd be laid out in it the whole time. I wouldn't even be watching TV. And we've got Riviera this week. Yeah, I'll be back in this chair. You got to love this chair, folks. You got a bad back, you got bad hips, bad shoulders. You can go over to Relax the Back, find not only an unbelievable chair or pillow, but you can also find the accessories that they have at both locations, at the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods in North Austin, at the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
Yes, indeed. Love Relax the Back. I'm sitting in a Relax the Back chair this morning as well, like I do every morning. This thing is fantastic. Thanks to you for hooking me up with that.
You know what you need with those in that Relax the Back chair? A couple of those gummies.
Oh.
You want to get relaxed. Have a couple of early birds and then sit yourself in that Relax the Back chair and watch some TV. You will be out for sure.
I'll be doing the show sitting like this.
Yeah, nothing but a head showing.
This is how relaxed I'll be. Yeah, just a floating head at the bottom of your screen. Oh, man. Shout out to our newest partners at Early Bird CBD. They make gummies and tinctures designed to make you feel good. It's a local Austin company. Their gummies and tinctures are formulated with CBD and a micro dose of THC. So, look, if you're getting drug tested, these are not for you. But if you're looking to take the edge off, if you're looking to feel good, maybe a little Netflix and chill, maybe you're going out to Barton Springs and you just want to have a relaxing day, maybe you just want a good night's sleep.
And you don't have that
gummies.
relaxed back chair. You want a
No.
little something to take the edge off that knee pain that you've been having, that ankle pain. This is it right here. Early Bird CBD sounds like the way to go. It's helped my knee for sure.
I love this stuff, man. Early Bird, if you're looking to take the edge off and put a smile on your face, Early Bird is for you. Check out their website, earlybirdcbd.com. Check out all the great products that they have. And then the promo code, Bucky. You type that in at checkout, you're going to get 20% off your first order. They've got different flavors of gummies. Again, the tinctures, they've got dark chocolate bars. Easy for me to say, but I'm telling you, man, this stuff has changed my routine. And I think y'all are going to love it as well. Again, earlybirdcbd.com, promo code Bucky.
Sweet.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And also some love to centextickets.com. Hey, if you want to go to this Texas basketball game tonight, they still have seats available right now online at centextickets.com. You don't need http://www. No, centextickets.com. No, sir. It's that simple. Centextickets.com. You can do the double dip too. Texas baseball at the Dish, 5 o'clock. Texas basketball at the Mood, 8 o'clock.
Sweet.
They got tickets for both. Centextickets.com. Make sure to use the promo code CENTEX10. You type that in at checkout, and you're going to instantly receive 10% off of any ticket purchase, whether you're buying 1 or 10. It does not matter. Use that code 10% off from our great friends at centextickets.com.
So, BK, today is the opening of franchise tag for NFL teams.
Yes.
It starts at 4 o'clock today, I believe.
That sounds right. And we're starting to see some reports about who's going to get tagged and who's not. I saw something that said the Seattle Seahawks are unlikely to use the franchise tag on Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker.
Okay, so what does that entail when you're saying that? I mean, you haven't really done it yet because it hadn't started. But are you saying you're going to pay this guy the kind of money he's looking for, or are you going to? Does he still have he still has a year on his contract?
No. Well, franchise tag is used for guys who are free agents. Franchise tag is a 1-year guaranteed contract tender that you can use to prevent your free agents from actually hitting the open market.
Okay.
You pay them a lot of money. I mean, I think the average of the top 5 salaries at that position. So franchise tag for a quarterback is more than any other position. Franchise tag for a kicker, not that anybody uses it.
Yeah, I mean,
not very expensive.
You got to be in the top or whatever at that position when you're franchise. I mean, like George Pickens can make like close to $30 million.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be the top 5, the average of the top 5 salaries for wide receivers. Right. And it sounds like the Cowboys are going to use the franchise tag on George Pickens. Now, once a tag is used, you have until, I think, July 15th is the deadline this year to get a long-term deal done. So just because, you put a player on a tag right now here in February, it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to play on that tag when we get to the season. The two sides, the team and player, have a few months to work out a long-term contract, and then the tag just gets flushed down the toilet. But if you can't figure out a long-term deal by mid-July, then the player will play on that franchise tag, and then he'll be a free agent next year.
So when you don't tag a guy like Kenneth Walker, what does that entail?
He's a free agent. So the Seahawks could still sign him, but Kenneth Walker can also sign with anybody else in the open market.
That's kind of dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seems dangerous to me with a guy like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
even for a short time, he's young enough that somebody else would, as a free agent, would say, you know what, here's what we're going to pay you for 3 years. You may only be worth this much for about 3 years because now your running back life expectancy, your shelf life is reaching that point as a running back that you're not going to get another big contract anyway. We'll find somebody else by then.
Right. Yeah, and the Seahawks, it's an interesting spot for them. I mean, obviously they're really good, and they should be really good again next year. If Zach Charbonnet didn't tear his ACL late in the regular season,
yeah, he would have got half the carries.
I think they would have no problem letting Kenneth Walker walk, pun intended. But because he's probably going to miss a good chunk of next year.
Correct.
And then you never know exactly how effective a guy is going to be off of a major knee injury like that, especially a running back.
World champs, and you're defending world champs. That'd be kind of silly looking.
Right. So I don't know what their plan is at running back. They don't use the franchise tag very often. So look, just because they're not using it, they could be the highest bidder for Kenneth Walker and say, we're going to give you a 4-year deal at $12 million per and come on back. Kenneth, thanks for everything. We're not letting you go. But no, you're right. It is risky. Franchise tag, the non-exclusive franchise tag means that that guy was going to be on your team and he can't negotiate with terrorists or other teams.
Okay.
Because, again, it's just sources right now. And the franchise tag window opens today. There's like 2 weeks to actually do it. So the Seahawks could change their
March
mind.
3rd. March 3rd is when it closes.
March 3rd. Okay, yeah, a couple weeks. So we'll see what happens there. And there will obviously be a number of these stories around the league. The kicker is you only get one franchise tag per team.
Right.
So you can't just say, well, we don't want any of our free agents to leave. We're going to tag all these guys. No, that's not how it works. You typically use it on your best player, who's a free agent. For the Cowboys, that's George Pickens. And again, we'll see this used around the league, but maybe not in Seattle.
It just seems like a tough. Yeah, I mean, things happen to Super Bowl winners. They just start losing guys. I mean, that's why they're Super Bowl winners, because they got good players.
Right. But Kenneth Walker is on a rookie contract, so he was not making a ton of money. 2nd-round rookie contract, and now, he chose a good day to have a good day, winning Super Bowl MVP in his last game before he hits free agency.
Man.
First running back since touchdown Terrell Davis to do that. That's going to help his pocketbook a little bit.
Yeah, he looks physically fit to me. He doesn't look like he's got wear and tear on him. He looks like he's got about 3 or 4 really healthy years to go, no matter where he is. And if I'm Seattle, that's a part of that mystique of them being so. It's not even mystique; it's for real. It's them being physical. And he even with the guy coming back next year, if that guy's totally healthy, those two, they could get you right back to a Super Bowl again.
Yeah, here's the thing, and I know you as a running back coach is going to hate this. I'm trying to find the chart here, but teams that win the Super Bowl in recent years, they typically aren't paying their running backs a heck of a lot of money. So
no, they've already done something for the next 8 years. They're fine. They'll find somebody else. They can do other things. They can take that Super Bowl and live like you're living with the Texas Rangers in the World Series for the next 10 years. They don't really give a shit what they do from that point on for 8 or 9 years. I mean, Seattle.
Here's the chart right here, Buck. So these are Super Bowl winning running backs, the starting running backs on Super Bowl winning teams, and the percentage they have cost against the cap. You got to go all the way back to 2013, funny enough, when the Seahawks won it with beast mode, Marshawn Lynch, to find a team that had a running back with a cap hit of more than 2% of the team's overall roster. So, the Niners haven't won a Super Bowl since paying Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, the Cowboys paid Zeke Elliott a boatload of money. They did not win a Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley got his big contract after last year. He got that big extension. They didn't win it this year. So it's typically teams that win the Super Bowl in recent history are not paying their running backs an arm and a leg. So Seattle, they're smart. It's a front office that knows what it's doing. Clearly, they might see this chart and be like, yeah, no, we'll use the last pick in the first round on a running back and hope we have the next Kenneth Walker coming out of college. It would shock.
If not, we got 4 or 5 years under our belt because we just got a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, yeah. So I don't know. This is a real chart out here, and again, it's quarterbacks and defense that have been.
You're right.
Kind of carrying teams to Super Bowls, and I don't know. It'll be fascinating to see.
yeah, somebody's going to pay him something.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. He's going to get paid on the open market, but is
And
Seattle that
Seattle
team that
still,
does
and
it?
like you said, Seattle still may pay him a lot of money.
It could. And then that will be an interesting test to the running back cap hit theory that some folks out there have clearly been studying. I didn't make that charge. Somebody
Yeah,
else did.
yeah, he just seems like, and every time this happens, we always talk about him being a cut above. It just we did that with Zeke Elliott. We do the same thing every time somebody has a great a running back that has an incredible game or an incredible couple games, and you're saying, well, you got to pay this guy. No, you don't. Nobody pays those guys.
Yeah, highest paid running backs. I mean, look, it's not like they're all on bad teams. Like Saquon Barkley was the highest paid running back in football this year. All right, Eagles won their division. They made the playoffs. Christian
Right.
McCaffrey was number 2. The Niners won a playoff game in Philadelphia. Derrick Henry, number 3. The Ravens were a field goal kick away from being a playoff team. Jonathan Taylor, number 4. Daniel Jones doesn't get hurt. The Colts make the play. So it's not like teams that do this end up being horrible. But
Right.
there's just that weird trend that's been happening where, again, it's like the teams that, like the Chiefs, all the Super Bowls they win, they're paying Isaiah Pacheco. That guy was a 7th-round rookie when they were paying him. He was their lead rusher. So that's just how it's been as of late. I know it kills you as a running back guy.
Well, I mean, it doesn't kill me. I mean, it's just I'm truly seeing that's just the way it goes. That's like I said, if you win a Super Bowl, you can live off of that Super Bowl for a long, long time. People are off your back for a couple of years. I mean, Seattle's is now what, played in 3 and won 2?
No, they have. I mean, in the last 15 years, they've played in 3 and won 2, but they lost to the Steelers in the early to mid aughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just counting I'm counting those. Yeah, the ones.
Yeah, the John Schneider era, they've played in 3 and they've won 2. Should be 3 for 3. They just ran the ball at the 1-yard line. Speaking of running back,
that can hold you over for a while.
Yeah,
until you run into another running back or whatever. I mean, they just did it with Sam Darnold. Guy's been on 5 teams.
Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl this year. Is that accurate?
That's still true, right?
That is still true.
You can't take that away from him, right?
Can't take that away from him. No.
And he won't be with us. He won't be with the 6th team. He'll still be with that same team next year.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think the Seahawks are going to let that guy go anywhere. But
no.
It'll be fascinating to see what Seattle does and what all of these teams do with potential franchise tag candidates. Again, George Pickens in Dallas is the guy who's going to get one. I don't know if the Texans have a super obvious franchise tag candidate this year. And they've got
unless
some free agents.
Defense.
Yeah, I mean, but like there's none of their super impactful free agents are guys who are like, or none of their super impactful players, on that defense are guys who are about to be free agents. So
I saw Tyreek Hill is gone. They released that dude.
Yeah, there's the other big NFL storyline of the week so far is the Miami Dolphins decided to cut Tyreek Hill, who tore his ACL in week 4 of this past season. He turns 32 next month. He will be a free agent for the first time in his career. And he posted on social media that he's coming back. Quote, "The cheetah don't slow down ever. So to everyone wondering what's next, just wait on it. The cheetah will be back, born again." End quote. We'll make it a Jesus reference right before Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, see you in Kansas City.
Ooh, you think the Chiefs want him back?
Nothing like speed on top of speed, man.
Yeah,
but you don't know how that guy, and he's an older dude now, knee injury, wide receiver, little guy. I don't know.
I feel for his kids, man. I mean, a bunch of kids in the Miami area are losing their father because of this. That's who my heart hurts for more than anybody else. Tyreek's going to be fine, but what about the kids when he leaves?
Yeah, true. What about the kids? Well, he's got some in Kansas City. He's probably still hanging around that he left behind there, too.
Look, wherever he ends up signing, he probably has a kid there already as well.
Hey,
and
daddy's coming home.
If he doesn't, he will likely have one in the not-too-distant future. But the Dolphins saving $23 million, so you wonder why they're making this move. Well, Tyreek Hill was making a ton of money, and, this move saves Miami some money. And
plus, they're going to mess with Tua.
Right. The Dolphins, they got a lot to figure out.
Yes.
Sounds like they may be releasing Bradley Chubb, who's one of the best players on their defense.
Yeah.
So they might be just totally cleaning house. They obviously have a new coach with your guy, former Boston College coach Jeff Hafley, taking over. So I don't know what they're going to do with Tua. Quinn Ewers is still there. Will Quinn Ewers get the opportunity to start for them next season? I don't know, but they are completely flipping that roster on its head, and there is a chance that Miami's one of the worst teams in the NFL next season.
Yeah, they may get a chance with Hafley to start all over again, kind of. They may
Yeah.
just clean house. They can get a lot for Chubb. He's a good player.
Well, they're going to cut him, so no, they can't.
They're thinking about just cutting him.
It's the same thing, dude. He's making a ton of money, and he's going to count a ton against their cap if they keep him beyond a certain date. So I think they're just going to let him go.
Well, he's one of those guys. He's one of those cornerstone defensive guys that you just let walk out the gate. But Tua, who cares?
I'd really like the Cowboys to take a flyer on Bradley Chubb.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They got some talent on the inside of that defensive line with Quinnen Williams and Oso Odighizuwa, but they need all the pass rush help that they could get. And that was an issue for this team last year, obviously after the Micah Parsons trade. So I know Bradley Chubb isn't Micah Parsons. I'm not trying to sell y'all on that, but
he's pretty good.
Solid player. Yeah, pair him with Ezeraku, speaking of Boston College guys, and James Houston, who had a solid season last year. You got something there for the Cowboys. So whatever defensive help Dallas can get, I hope they are at least kicking the tires.
Yeah, but there's no Tua coming back to Miami, I don't believe. That's kind of done, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't officially said anything about Tua's future. I think they'll try to trade Tua if they can.
Sure.
You think anybody takes a flyer on that guy? I mean, it's a pretty weak quarterback draft class because, well, Dante Moore hates the Jets so much that he went back to Oregon. Trinidad Chambliss wants nothing to do with the NFL for some reason, so he went back to Ole Miss. Obviously, Arch Manning decided to kick it here. So, like, outside of Mendoza, does Ty Simpson out of Alabama get you going?
No.
Point is, if a team needs a quarterback, they're not going to trade a lot for Tua, and they're going to ask Miami to eat a bunch of that contract if they are going to do it. But
of course,
maybe a team that wants to give Tua an opportunity to.
Well, I think for the rest of the NFL, there's other guys to be gone too. I mean, what's the Cardinals going to do with Kyler Murray? Is that guy? They're going to stick with that dude?
No chance. No, I mean they benched him last year for Jacoby Brissett. Like they basically told Kyler Murray that he was done in the middle of the season. So,
and I would take Kyler Murray before I take Tua.
What about a Kyler for Tua swap? Send Kyler out to South Beach and Tua to the desert, and boom, no one's happy.
If I'm Miami, I'd be happier.
I guess
I would be.
You go from overrated, undersized top 10 quarterback to overrated, undersized top 10 quarterback. I guess you get less CTE with Kyler Murray coming in.
Yeah, but now his wheels are going to be all banged up now.
Yeah. And, you got to worry about this going up to the stadium every Sunday.
Coming through the turnstile, coming under the turnstile.
Getting through security pretty easily there in South Beach with Kyler Murray just doing that.
Poor Kyler Murray. That guy's got more money in the bank and just laughing his way to the bank.
Oh man, that guy is one at life. Couldn't beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl in 2018, but like that guy he's made some sound financial decisions, and then as soon as he gets paid, he's just like, I'm good. I'm
good.
set.
I'm good. I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah. No worries.
Where's my video? When's my game come out?
When's the next Call of Duty get released, please?
Do I have to look at the playbook?
I'd like to play that. What about your Vikings? We'll end the NFL conversation with this. Our guy Jake Bayless saying your Vikings should take a flyer on Tua. That do anything for you?
No. They've already got a guy that can get hurt.
Yo, you're running it back with the JJ, the jet plane, McCarthy?
Yeah, well, like you said, they already got a guy who can get hurt. They don't need to have another one that'll get hurt.
He wasn't very good last year.
I thought he was more mobile and moved around a little bit better. Boy, he took some shots in the pie. They can't protect him.
They can't protect
him. Who else they couldn't protect at the end of it? Sam Darnold, who then went off and won a Super Bowl. The Vikings can protect that dude. And the following year, what does he do?
You should be grateful that you only root for one team in the Twin Cities, because that sports town with the Timberwolves, with the Wild in hockey, with the Twins, and with the Vikings, like it's just nonstop sports misery.
Let's
Up
just
there.
not forget the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, thank you for adding on to my point.
The
right?
row the boat guy.
The row the boat
Is that guy still there? How many years has row the boat guy been there preaching all that too?
Hey, someone has to wear a tie with a quarter zip over it, okay? Somebody in college football needs that look, and PJ Fleck has volunteered his tribute.
Has somebody told that dude, hey, they've won a championship in Indiana? I mean, as long as he's been there and rowing the boat, somebody should just remind him, hey, Indiana's won a championship there, dude.
Don't sleep on this look, all right? Next time I go to a wedding, I'm going to rock this, like the Longhorns quarter zip over a dress shirt and tie.
With the sunglasses.
Yeah, how's that for cocktail attire? Boom. We're having a good time here. It's this look is better than Shaka Smart's polo over the long sleeve t-shirt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's what a fifth grader wears. I can't believe Shaka Smart has worn that for as long as he has. It's the dumbest look ever.
Yeah, unless you're confused about your golf attire and the temperature is like mid-60s and you're feeling just a little cool, but the sun is out and you want to put a long sleeve underneath that polo, golf polo, and head to the golf course.
Don't do it. Just wear like a quarter zip over, so if it gets too hot, you can take it off, and then you just have the polo.
Yeah,
like it's like what? Don't do this. Don't do that.
That looks like a kid going to elementary school.
It does. Like, this is what my friends wore. They'd wear like something like this and basketball shorts to school every day.
Come on, man.
It's like my parents did not let me wear that, and I'm glad they didn't.
Why is Shaka taking strays this morning?
Shaka's taking strays. By the way, Shaka's Marquette team is 9-17 this year, and they are tied for last in the Big East Conference. So, haven't heard a lot of Texas fans recently say the Longhorns made a mistake letting that guy go.
Hey, he's not making the difference back at his hometown.
He is unfortunately not making the difference.
Wow.
He had a good first few years when he was winning with somebody else's players, and then now it's not so good. Not so good for Shaka. And you can no longer eat a 3-course meal on top of his head because of the fro, right?
Yeah, he went fro, and I got this going on.
Yeah, that's full bald right there. You say you can grow hair though, right? That's bald by choice.
That's bald by choice for years now.
I'd like to see a mullet on you before you go.
See the thing popping out of the side?
Something like that, yeah. At least the Costanza look would be nice.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. All right, so there you go. Some NFL conversation for your Tuesday enjoyment. We got some Longhorn football stuff to get into. A new segment that we might try. I didn't even run this by you, Buck, so we'll see if this makes sense. We'll see if this is a good bit.
I'm always into something new.
Plenty more sports conversation coming up. But before we dive back in, about a few more sponsor shout-outs.
Good morning to our friends over at St. Patrick. We just got through talking about the great polos, the collectibles, the accessories, tons of Texas-themed items, books, cards, you name it. All the Valentine's stuff was there, of course. All the gear that you're looking for that says Texas on it is at St. Patrick. 5222 Burnett Road, folks. You are going to love everything that they have in the store. Tyler Campbell, right? They've got the Tyler Campbell. They've got all the detergents there. You know what I noticed, BK, when I was there, and I've noticed it every time, the smell good feeling when you walk into that store. The smell is unbelievable. It really is. You know, it's like a fresh tossed salad, almost like Cliff Kingsbury when I walk in there. That's what the smell is. That's what I thought about when I went in. Cliff Kingsbury came to mind when I walked in there the other day because we hadn't been there for a while. And I walked in, I'm like, this fresh smell. Is Cliff around? Yes, that's the great smell at St. Patrick, 5222 Burnett Road. All kinds of great parking spots here. You don't have to worry about parking, you know. Free shipping on online orders over $59 at St. Patrick. And the great polos that we sold, I guess hundreds of, $59 right now. They got some 50% racks there, 50% off racks that are available for you. So head on over, say hello to Jay and the gang, or for more information, go to SuePatrick.com.
Yes, indeed. Did you say they'll toss your salad at Sue
No,
Patrick?
I said it smells like a tossed salad when you walked in.
No, it's interesting. Last time we were there, this was at the very end of our show. Miss Sue herself burnt some toast.
Oh, did she really?
It was smelling like fire. I was like looking over at Jay and Corbin. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, oh yeah, Sue burnt some toast. It was looking like a fraternity house on April 20th with all the smoke that was flying through the air.
Was it like my meal over at Austin Diner the other day?
Oh yeah, you hate that place, don't you?
Yeah, they can do better.
Well, they're not a sponsor, so you're allowed to dunk on them as often as you would like, sir.
Well, yeah, especially when the chef doesn't show up for it's supposed to be a great breakfast place, and the chef shows up late for breakfast. Can't have that. No, we can't have that. Plus, their grits are cold now, and they give me that piece of toast. You know what? I do like my toast kind of warm when I put a little butter and jelly on it. It was just like it'd been sitting there, like they had pre-toasted it before I came in. You know what I mean? And just put it in the microwave and then threw it out to me. That was bad.
It just gave you a piece of bread.
Yeah, and when I ask for my eggs medium, I don't like snot running out of my eggs then. When I ask for medium, over medium, I really like to get my eggs over medium. And that's why when I go to places like Daymaker's Half Day Cafe, if you ask for them over medium, that's just what they are. I don't like to see the stuff running off the side of it. If I want them over easy or whatever, isn't that over easy when they're like that kind of runny?
Yeah. Yeah. Places, I think some chefs or people posing as chefs need to be retaught how to make eggs.
Oh, no. Really?
Because I was at a very nice brunch establishment this past weekend, and the food, for the most part, was fantastic. Experience was fantastic, but I got some eggs, and they were supposed to be scrambled. There's like yolk running everywhere. It's like what is?
I'm particular about
over easy, scrambled, and over medium. And I'm like, that's not what scrambled eggs are, y'all. This is the easiest one to make too. Everyone knows how to make scrambled eggs.
It doesn't get any easier than that. I'm really particular about my eggs. I'm sorry, folks, that we just went into the kitchen with you, but I'm really weird about my eggs. And when I say over medium and they come back like really nasty, that freaks me out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You ask for something, you want something. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
You know who will give you what you're looking for? Tom McKay.
Absolutely, you will.
Audiovisual consultations. I'm not sure he's going to make you eggs, but if you want to make him eggs when he shows up to your place, I'm sure
he'll take that. He'll take that.
But for TVs and surround sound speakers and whole home lighting and surveillance systems, and how about a golf simulator inside your house? Yeah, AV Consultations can hook you up with all of that, and that's all way cooler than eggs anyways. AV Consultations has been hooking up Central Texas since 1988. They've been around longer than I've been alive. Yeah, Tom McKay, you're getting old, dude. Love you, bud, but you're getting old. But hey, that's good for you because he knows what he's doing and his team knows what he's doing. They're experienced. They've hooked up thousands of Central Texans, and you can be next. So many great sports happenings coming our way. Make sure your home is the place to be for friends, for family, for yourself with a custom TV setup. If you want the big screen like the Buck, if you want the home theater room, if you want the 4 screens on one wall like I have, AV Consultations can do it all for you. All you have to do is give them a call. 512-255-8678. You can find out more online at avconsultations.com.
Be watching Riviera, the golf tournament from Riviera this weekend.
There you go.
Starting on Thursday. I'm excited about that one.
There's a lot going on this coming weekend. USA women's hockey has advanced to the gold medal match. They will take on Canada on Thursday. The men's hockey team will play the quarterfinals tomorrow. If they win that, they'll play the semifinals on Friday. And then if they win that, they will likely play Canada in the gold medal match on Sunday.
Yeah, the women have had 5 straight shutouts. How about that?
Yeah, they're dominating teams. And they already beat the brakes off of Canada once. I would love nothing more for them to do that again Thursday afternoon. So, yeah, avconsultations.com. They will take care of you.
For sure.
All right, some Texas football practice news and notes. Winter
workouts going on?
Yeah, spring football will officially start on March 9th, so we'll have more actual practice reports. But there's stuff going on. Guys working out, going through strength and conditioning. They're doing some sort of drills around the facilities right now. We'll start off with the bad, some injury news, and none of this is unexpected. These aren't new injuries, but Arch Manning is still in a boot. Remember, he had foot surgery early in the offseason to repair some minor things that were plaguing him towards the end of the year. And I go back, Buck, and I think about what Arch Manning was able to do in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl against Michigan, especially on the ground. 155 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, had that 60-yard touchdown run in that game.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that he was doing that and running away from defenders the way that he was with some sort of foot issue that needed surgery, pretty ridiculous.
Hope it's just a bunion. Maybe you got a bunion removed.
Yeah, it's just getting a couple of things removed. Again, it was very minor and seems more precautionary than anything. But
sure,
Arch Manning, not doing a whole lot right now, understandably so. He is in a boot. So there have been some organized throwing sessions.
Oh, little catchy-catch.
Little catchy-catch. Yeah, is that what that is? Organized throwing sessions is just like politically correct catchy-catch?
It is. Yeah, it's politically. Yeah, you can do that.
But organized, that's like team mandated versus just you going out with your boys and tossing the ball in the yard, right?
Yeah, going out to the park, saying we don't need to go over to the stadium. Let's just go out to the park.
Yeah, I think these are more of
you got to be there.
Yeah, on campus stuff going on right now. But KJ Lacey, because of Arch Manning's injury, has been getting first-team reps in the organized throwing sessions, which is a little interesting to me because Texas went out and brought in MJ Morris, the experienced grad transfer from Coastal Carolina. And I think a lot of folks just kind of assumed, now, look, the season doesn't start until September, so that's going to go on for a long time. But I think a lot of folks just kind of assumed, like, okay, MJ Morris is going to be Matthew Caldwell to where he will be the first guy up if something happens to Arch Manning. But at least as of right now, again, in these throwing activities, KJ Lacey is getting the first team reps.
Nothing wrong with that. That guy's better. Let him get out there and throw with him.
Yeah, and he obviously has the Texas experience advantage. I mean, this is only his second year of college football, but he was in the system and on this team last year, whereas MJ Morris is coming in from somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you've got Diabell, the true freshman early enrollee, who's on campus, who's a part of these things as well. But I think, from what I'm hearing, Buck, it sounds like KJ Lacey does have a good shot to actually win that job. Like, this is not just we brought in MJ Morris because we need a QB2 and we don't trust the guys that we have. Sounds like KJ Lacey might end up being this team's backup quarterback this season. And I think that's a good thing if he's able to fend off MJ Morris.
Well, we'll get to see him. Hey, we'll get to see a spring game. So,
yeah, we'll get to see it in a spring game. And obviously when spring practice comes around, we'll get more reports for what's going on when guys actually put the pads on. All of this stuff is pad free right now. But that's interesting. And look, all these quarterbacks are going to get more reps with Arch Manning in a boot. Hopefully by spring ball, Arch Manning will be fine. But again, nothing to worry about for the actual season. Trevor Gooseby remains in a sling. Another guy who had off-season surgery, shoulder surgery for him. Sounds a little bit more serious, but again, not something that should bleed into the summer or into the fall as well. Hearing some good things about Tyler Atkinson, the true freshman 5-star linebacker, Buck, who I think is going to play a significant role on this Texas team. We've talked about him as maybe the guy who's most likely to make a biggest impact as a true freshman this year.
Right.
And heard good things about his work ethic in high school before he even signed with Texas. And it sounds like he has been putting in the extra work. And here's something that I know you'll like and I like. He's been working out with Derek Johnson away from the facilities.
Oh, that's nice.
He's not alone, too. Marcus Boswell, the Akron transfer who played at Lake Travis.
Yep.
Those two guys have been putting in extra time with Derek Johnson. And if you want to be a great linebacker at the University of Texas, who better to learn from?
Oh, yeah. You'll get all kind of different types of skills, too. You'll be able to go inside, outside. You'll be able to go from sideline to sideline. I watch Boswell can, and as I told you, that dude can hit. He's one of those throw his body out there. He's one of those. Remember, was it Caden Stearns who was at Texas for a while? That I used to always say that dude is going to get himself knocked out, and he was always banged up because he was always throwing his body, his head first and shoulders, and sometimes not wrapping up, but just like a missile. Boswell's very similar. He brings that kind of physicality, for a guy who's, although he's put on a bunch of weight now. I mean, I can't imagine to see the way that guy hits with the kind of size that he's put. If he's at the 230s now, he'll be interesting to see after a year of growth, over at where he just came from. That'll be great to see because he can put you, and being with Derek Johnson will help him an awful lot.
Yeah, Marcus Boswell was listed at 6'1", 230 on Akron's site last year. Wow. So maybe putting on a few more LBs this offseason.
Yeah, because he didn't go to Akron weighing that much. He wasn't. Right? He looked like a big, strong safety.
Yeah, it's interesting. And Tyler Atkinson is like 215, so he's going to have to put on a few LBs too. I mean, the linebacker position has changed. Football has changed. I mean, passing is such a big part of the game, and you need your linebackers to not just be downhill players anymore. You need them to be sideline to sideline guys who can, move in space and cover these really fast running backs and tight ends these days. So
well, we know in this conference, you better be stout in the middle too against the run.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I'm not saying you don't need that, but you're looking for guys who can do both. I mean, yes. Anthony Hill was like 235 or so last year.
Right.
And he had the speed to go anywhere on the field, but obviously he had the physicality and the strength to play downhill and be a huge part of Texas's elite run defense this past year. So
yeah, the guys that are 212, 215 that are trying to be in the middle, that's you don't see a lot of those dudes anymore.
I don't know. I mean, Anthony Smith, who played a lot last year, he was 215.
Yeah, they'll bring in a secondary guy. They'll use you as a secondary guy now, the way things are.
I don't know, man. I mean, Anthony Smith is 215, and he's expected to be like one of the best linebackers on this team.
Inside.
Rasheem Biles that Texas got from Pitt is 220. Like that's kind of the way football go these days.
Yeah, but as you said, you like them to be a little bit heavier that can do a little bit of everything. They can go down outside and
I don't care how big they are. I care how they play.
Yeah, that's me too.
Their guys are 250 pounds who can't hit as hard as a guy who's 200 pounds out there.
Yeah, well, I don't want a 250 linebacker. I don't want Dick Butkus.
Well, I mean, I would take.
Yeah, you would.
If you could make him like a 20-year-old again.
Or Ray Nitschke was like 260.
I think I would have either of those guys on our team if if somehow AI allowed us to do that. I'm cool with it.
Oh my goodness,
that'd be nice. But I mean, anybody who's willing to work with a Longhorn legend like that, and all of these guys are putting in extra work. But again, what better linebacker can you learn from? Not only a Longhorn legend, but a guy who had a very successful career at the NFL as well. Like that's, I'm sure, what Tyler Atkinson wants, and I'm sure that's what Marcus Boswell would like to have too. So I like hearing stories like that. Derek Johnson looks like he could still play, man.
Yeah, he looks good.
I mean, he might be skinnier than those guys.
I think he's a little lighter than those guys. Yeah.
And
he still looks great though.
Still looks great. And he's running around with what, 5 kids?
Oh yeah.
So that keeps him in shape. That's nonstop cardio for that dude right there.
No doubt. Well, it's nonstop get in the car and take him somewhere.
Right.
You're always on the move. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then, a couple of other news notes and nuggets from winter workouts. The expected leaders are kind of separating themselves. Colin Simmons, Jelani McDonald, Alex January, Connor Robertson. Those are names that I've heard who have kind of stepped up and taken more of a leadership role. All of those guys upperclassmen. All of those guys likely in their final years on the 40 acres. So no surprise there. You lose leaders from last year.
I wonder how the running backs look. I wonder how those guys look. I wonder if you can tell the difference between what they have or what they've had recently and then what they have right now with these two guys. I wonder if you can tell the difference now.
I've heard good things about the explosiveness of the running backs. But again, I mean, it's tough to really know exactly what's happening without pads on. The running back position, that feels like one where you need to see the guys with the pads on to know what they're all about.
No doubt.
But I've heard high praise about the speed and explosive ability of both Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers. And look, if you just go turn on the tape from those guys last year at their previous stops, it's pretty obvious that they've got that.
Yeah, speed will matter with those guys.
Speed kills. It says it on every U-Haul.
Yes.
I think they're talking about football with that, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think the speed of these two cats, speed and I mean, and plus they're explosive guys, BK, at the end of their runs too.
Cats, dogs.
Dogs.
We had cats last year. We don't need a bunch of cats running around in here. Meow. We don't need that. We need dogs.
Just a way back term. Cool daddy. Cats. Cats are cool.
You a cat guy?
I'm an outdoor cat guy.
Oh, you do it outside.
Yeah, I'm an outdoor cat guy. My cats, I've never had an indoor cat. I don't like cats. They tear up stuff. I tried to make an outdoor cat an indoor cat with a leather couch, and that dude ripped the side of it up, and I had to fling him outside, and that was it.
He tried to take a cat off the streets and turn her into a
Yes.
housewife or to a house cat.
Yeah,
And
I
it didn't
tried to
work.
turn it into a house cat. That didn't work. Can't do that.
Sorry
Can't
to
make
hear
an
about
outdoor cat into an indoor cat.
Can't do that. No.
No, you cannot.
That's what they said about Lane Kiffin, I think, when he left Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah, really?
Will Muschamp, by the way, nothing but positive returns for him. He's been very hands-on with the defense, recruiting, install. He's always at the facilities.
That's
And
great.
I've been told, I mean, it seems like he's the head coach of the defense. So all of that
Oh,
stuff.
that's what I'm saying. The more he can do, the less work Sark has to do on the defensive side like he had to do last year.
It seems like, I mean, that's what Sark told us at the press conference when he announced the changes, is that was like the biggest reason why he made the move to Will Muschamp is he could have a head coach of the defense and he could spend more time focusing on his side of the football. So it sounds like Will Muschamp is going to have free reign. Look, he's getting paid. Will Muschamp this year, Buck, 2026, is making more money as a defensive coordinator at Texas than he made in his first year as a head coach at Florida when he got that job a decade ago.
Makes sense, yes.
Now, part of that is just, college football has gotten more popular and more money's coming in, so all contracts across the board are higher. But again, I mean, he is one of the highest paid. He's making $2.7 million this year. The highest paid defensive coordinator last year was Jim Knowles at Penn State, who made $3.1 million. Jim Knowles got fired, obviously. I mean, everyone got fired at Penn State. So Knowles took a job at Tennessee. He's now their defensive coordinator. The Longhorns will have to see him this year. He's making $2.2 million. So Will Muschamp is like, I don't know if he's the highest paid defensive coordinator in the sport, but he is right there, and he is making more than a lot of head coaches around college football are. So
no doubt.
It makes sense that we're hearing stories of him being the head coach of the defense and not just second fiddle and Sark gets the final set. It sounds like Muschamp is 100% reign on that side of the football.
Well, I mean, that's the way you like it. You like to have somebody that you can trust to do that. And Sark, as he said, he's now he can help with the penalties and all the other stuff that happens on the offensive side. There won't be an excuse for anything happening offensively. They have to get better.
It sounds like if there are penalties on defense, that's all Will Muschamp's fault.
There you go.
That's what Sark might say. I mean, I get it. The head coach, he's got to wear everything that happens to his team. It's just how it works. But if the defense has like 5 penalties in a game, I could see Steve Sarkisian being like, that ain't me. That's that guy.
He's going to take the blame for all of that. If they got
you know what we'll say? You know what Texas fans will say if Sark does that? Who hired that guy, coach?
Yeah. No, the penalties will come on one guy. That's the head coach. That's going to, whether it happens on the defensive side, the special teams, that's coming on one guy. The guy who's in charge of fixing that whole problem. That's the head coach.
Yeah, penalties have been a problem around these parts. And as we've talked about 1,000 times, it was worse than ever before this past season. Texas second to last in America in penalties per game.
It's hard for me to believe that that's the situation, and the running game was the situation, the worst since the 40s. That's at the University of Texas. That's hard to believe.
I think it shows you how far Texas has come as a program, and I promise this is not a moral victory here. I'm disappointed. We're all disappointed by Texas missing the playoffs last year. But the fact that Texas was able to win 10 games despite some of those things happening, like, okay, they had enough good going for them to overcome some historically bad.
Yeah, historically bad. You're right.
I know.
Not just bad.
It just tells me, like, all right, this program has come a long way. Now, it's unacceptable. I don't want to be 9-3 in the regular season next year and missing the playoff again. The conversations we'll be having will be different if we're in the same spot next year. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that they were able to do that despite not being able to run the football at all and constantly shooting themselves in the foot every single Saturday.
Yeah, that's to me, for him, that's the running game and the penalties are the number one fix, number one and 1A for Sark this year.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that, right? Because those were the two things that plagued this team the most, I think, last year. So getting those turned around will be huge for
It's
this
just hard to
team.
believe the penalties could be that bad. That's what drives you nuts. I mean, we care about academics here. I know you don't.
Oh, you're saying it's a smart football team?
Oh no, this is not us. Oh no, my
Because
God.
the GPA says it's a smart football team. So that's why I don't care about the academics, because they're bragging about how smart they are in the classroom and, oh, that's cool. They're not very smart on the football field.
No, they're the dummies of the football
You
world.
called them last year the dumbest team you've ever seen.
I've never seen a team so dumb.
Well, with all due respect to you professors out there, I don't care about what they're doing in the classroom. I care about what they're doing on the field.
You professors may be just pushing them through. Let's go. Let's not do this. Let's make them work at it.
No, just keep them
some work.
eligible. I don't care what their grades are.
Keep them eligible.
Just keep them academically eligible. That's my biggest concern.
Don't be so hard on them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's got to get fixed. And I don't. I'm going to go back and rummage through some Steve Sarkisian press conferences. And obviously, we'll hear from him in the spring and we'll get the chance to talk to him at media days and this, that, and the other. Like, I would like Steve Sarkisian to have a more serious tone when it comes to the penalties. I feel like he downplayed him and poo-pooed him.
Well, he does. He doesn't really address those things. He addresses other things more so than that. We've got to be able to run the ball. We've got to do that. We got to be more effective doing this. But he doesn't really address the penalty situation. It's like it's going to go away.
And I've got, maybe it's because it's basketball season and Sean Miller's on my brain right now. And I just think of the basketball coach that's like,
we will foul the living shit out of you.
And
we fouled it out of him. We have a virus called fouling.
Like the basketball coach was constantly saying, like, this is a huge freaking problem and we suck at this and we're not going to be better unless we fix this. And hey, they are starting to fix it a little bit and they're playing better, which is great. And I just feel like Sark, he just always kind of pushes the penalties to the side like it's no big deal. And I feel like it's a pretty big deal.
I think it makes you think that he doesn't think that's what holds them back.
Right. Great. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Perfect. And I just don't know how you could feel that way. Because I look at the teams that were playing deep into the playoff this year. They were nowhere close to Texas in the penalty front.
Right.
So you don't have to be number one, but you can't be second to last. You can't be number 136.
That's unbelievable.
Or whatever it was. So
that's amazing.
It is. Will Muschamp, by the way, I mean, culture guy too. I think that's like Steve Sarkisian has done a pretty good job cultivating culture during his time at Texas. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But the Will Muschamp hire, you talk about course correction. If you were worried maybe the culture went awry last year, I mean, his attitude that he brings to the table, we know that. That's probably the biggest difference. It's not scheme. It's not recruiting. It's not anything else. The personality difference between Coach Boom and PK is night and day. I mean, PK, a pretty reserved guy on the sidelines, not super in your face, not super rah-rah, whatever. I mean, everybody knows the infamous whiteboard incident with Coach Boom. Like, he is nonstop in your face. Think of what Kirby Smart is on the sideline for a more recent reference for some of you. I know a lot of our fans remember Will Muschamp from when he was at Texas the first time, but if you're a little younger and maybe you don't, think of some of the stuff that Kirby Smart does on the sideline. That's some of what you're going to see from Will Muschamp, man. He is animated And talk about a culture provider. That is what that guy is.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, he brought that immediately to this team.
Yeah.
And now it's just a matter of him getting all the players and getting that secondary correct too. Getting those linebackers correct and that secondary correct. This will be there shouldn't be any drop off. Once again, I'm the guy, you know me, I'm the drop off. When does the drop off happen with the defense a little bit?
Well, it happened last year, not with the run defense, but the defense did drop a decent amount.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when it comes as a group, yes.
Yeah. But you're right. Like you, me, everybody out there, we're going to be comparing every aspect of the 2026 defense to the last 3 years of Pete Kwiatkowski.
Yes.
Which, okay, high expectations. But again, we just talked about Will Muschamp's contract. That dude is making a ridiculous amount of money.
Yes.
So the expectations for two reasons. Number one, you fired a guy that nobody really thought you needed to fire. And number two, you're paying the new guy a ridiculous amount of money. Like that combination of those two things raises the bar very, very high.
By the way, has the old guy got a gig? Is he taking a year off? He's just chilling?
Yeah. As of now, Pete Kwiatkowski is still a coaching free agent.
That's interesting.
So I think just about every job is filled right now.
I got to believe it is.
I mean, head coaching jobs are definitely full, but, PK is not about that life. But, all the big defensive coordinator vacancies have been filled by guys not named Pete Kwiatkowski.
It's interesting.
So perhaps taking a year off. I haven't heard anything about a retirement. He's 59, turned 60 this year. I think he's got a few more years of coaching left in him if he wants.
Sure.
But as it stands right now, he is I was going to say on the sidelines, but that doesn't make sense. He's going to be on his couch this year.
Yes, he is. He's going to be at the golf course or at his favorite fishing hole.
Yeah, him and Hugh Freeze will be golfing together a whole lot.
There you go.
I don't know what PK does outside of football. I don't know anything about that guy. Besides he was
a little kid. I mean, does he have grown kids or?
Couldn't even tell you that.
How old was he? How old did you say he was?
Turning 60 this year.
Well, they're not all the way grown, but they're grown-ups.
Yeah. I don't know. I do not know. But
he'll just go to some places in the spring, check out some stuff, learn some more about football. Unless he's totally just getting away from it, period.
I have no idea.
It's hard for those dudes once the season rolls around to get away.
Oh, there are all those reports that he was looking to get a job back on the West Coast, right? People thought like this was, at least that was some of the spin early on, was that this was like a mutual parting of the ways. PK had something lined up. I mean, USC replaced its defensive coordinator. Oregon replaced its defensive coordinator. Right. So everyone was like, all right, well, he's just going to go to those schools. But then we found out shortly after that, no, this was a firing. Like this was Steve Sarkisian saying, good luck, you're on your own. And making the move to Will Muschamp, and it's clear that was the case now.
Yeah, it is. Now, yeah, it really tells you now that there is none of that. I want to get back to the West Coast. So that's because that was the first thing we were hearing. He wants to get back to the West Coast. To do what? Was he going to go in surfing or what? Surfing?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he just wants to hang out on the beach out in California. Who knows? But that's how it's going to be. I mean, every part of this defense is going to be compared.
Sure.
To what we've seen around here in recent years. And again, it took a step back this past year, but it was still pretty good. It was still a top 25 defense in the country. And you think early on, it was kind of annoying. And I think Sark was pretty annoyed by this too. Like the defense carried the weight in the first half of the season while the offense was trying to figure it out with all the new pieces that they had. Then finally the offense came to speed and then the defense just fell off a cliff.
Yes.
And obviously you want both clicking for all 12 games next year. But that was, I guess, Steve Sarkisian was like, yeah, no, this defense got worse as the year went along. And it was definitely worse in 25 than it was in 24, 23. And now we got to make a move. So,
yeah, it was kind of helter-skelter kind of year last year, even though they won 10 games. Is the head coach leaving? Those things that came up during game weeks and weird stuff like that. It wasn't a clean season, but once again, as you said, they still found a way to win 10 games. I mean, that's not good enough here anymore, but
it was, excuse me, Buck, go ahead.
Yeah, how they did that with everything that was going on, was kind of remarkable.
It was about as stressful of a 10-win season as you could possibly
Yeah,
have.
absolutely. There'd be people that would take that 10-win season and go, man, did we have a great year? But there was
Yeah,
some
but
stress involved with that.
yeah, I mean, look, they started 0-2 in their
Right.
games against Power 4 competition. You had a bit of a struggle in that UTEP game at home. There weren't a lot of reasons for optimism. And then the Oklahoma game happens, and you go on that high, and you're like, oh, we've turned a corner. Here we go. And then Kentucky and Mississippi State happened back to back. And those were 2 wins. Helped get you to 10, but you had a historically bad offensive performance and needed overtime against an awful Kentucky team that fired their coach. And you needed a miracle comeback to beat a bad Mississippi State team in overtime. Then you had Vanderbilt almost coming back against you the next week. And obviously the Georgia game ended up being the dagger, but there were it was a roller coaster ride. I mean, it always is. It's never easy for anybody.
Yeah, the Florida game really never helped you at all.
Right.
That was just
even some of the wins, though, is my point. Is
right.
It wasn't like Texas looked great in 10 games and they just had 3 bad days. It's like, no, they you could argue they were pretty fortunate to not be 8-4 or 7-5 this past year.
Go.
So, and we'll take it. We'll take it. Sometimes luck breaks your way. Sometimes it doesn't. And I just don't want as much stress against some of these weaker teams in the SEC.
No, they did build a lot of character for the quarterback, though.
Yeah,
that season
and he got better.
That season built a lot of character, a lot of poise for that kid, for sure.
For sure.
He's a guy he benefited from, what people would call a 10-win disappointing season. He really benefited from that. He did. That's gonna do great things for him.
Experience helps.
Yes.
At any position, but especially that position. And
no doubt.
It's going to help him. Having a real running game is going to help him. Having a better receiving room is going to help. Having a better offensive line is going to help. That's why Arch Manning's the favorite to win the Heisman right now. I mean, I get it. The last name is the last name, but you see what he did in his final 8 games of 2025, and you look at what Texas has done this offseason to build around him, then it's not super far-fetched to think that this dude is going to be one of the best players in the country.
No doubt.
All right, so there you go. The latest happenings for Texas football winter workouts. By the way, new NIL deals. We talked about Cam Coleman getting something done with Crocs yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Melvin Ciani, the new offensive line transfer from Wake Forest, has a deal with Luke Casey. Food action. And Ty Anthony Smith, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
Oh, boy. Time to get after it.
You don't like that place, do you?
No, I just overeat there. My eyes are bigger than my stomach when I go to places like that.
We went to the original Raising Cane's in Louisiana on our way to the Texas-Washington Sugar Bowl. Sorry to bring that up. We were all having a good time until now. And you ordered the biggest thing that they have on the menu.
Yes.
It's like everyone else is getting the 3-finger or the box combo, and you're going with the giant.
Yes.
You ate what?
8 pieces and some drumsticks to go with it and things. Yeah, I went overboard.
They don't have bone-in chicken, so you did not get any drumsticks there. It was all tendies, my friend.
Yeah, and I ate 3 of them and said, "Hey, anybody want the rest of this stuff?"
I think you ate 1.5 of them with a fork and a knife, and then you didn't offer the food. You just threw it away, and I'm sitting there I would have eaten that.
I ate a bunch of biscuits they had there. I loaded up with bread.
Toast. They got the toast.
Yeah, I loaded up with that stuff. That was enough for me.
So it was at that moment where I knew Raising Cane's was never going to be a sponsor of our show.
And Buck has not gone since. I've not been to one since. I hadn't been to one before.
That was your first time. I know. I was excited for you. And you don't like the fried chicken very much.
I was always a Kentucky Fried Chicken guy.
But when's the last time you've been to KFC?
Oh, no, I haven't been 20 years now.
Yeah.
I used to like the mashed potatoes and brown gravy there, though.
That is pretty good.
And the coleslaw.
The slaw at KFC?
Oh, it's delicious.
Okay.
I like the accessories to stuff.
Accessories?
Yes.
Is that the sides?
Yeah, those are the sides. Yes, I like the accessories. I do like those.
I like that term. All right. Well, there you go. I've always been more of a Popeyes guy, but I have not found much fried chicken I don't like in this life. So,
Yeah, I did try the Popeyes out here in Belterra. I don't know if the cooks are the same. Something's up with the chicken wasn't all that great.
well, it probably took you 30 minutes to get your food, right?
It took a while.
It's usually the bit with Popeyes. It's like it's good, but you're just gonna get horrible service and you're gonna have to wait for a really long time.
Last time I delved into, I mean, my chicken now is like baked chicken. I tried that finger place I told you the other day when I just had to go in there and explore the little wings, the wing place,
The finger place.
the wings place. I told you I didn't want to
Oh,
mention.
Wingstop or something?
Yeah, I went into that place and I didn't have it. It was awful tasting.
I've got your stereotype because I mean, if I'm a fried chicken guy, you don't have it.
Yeah, I've never been a fried chicken guy. I mean, I've always struggled. And even when I was a kid, my mother from Mississippi, father from South Carolina. I mean, they were clucking all the way, and my mother never made fried chicken kind of the way I liked it. She always had there was always this little blood on the bone, and that weirded me out as a kid. So I was never a Sunday chicken guy. I mean, I would bypass Sunday meals to go to my friend's house. Uh, the Germans that lived down the street from me that were going to have mashed potatoes, corn, with meat. I'd be at their house for dinner on Sundays. I
There
knew
you
it was
go.
happening. I knew it was happening there every Sunday. And my mom's fried chicken. My mom made everything else good. I even ate my mom's liver. I could even eat liver back in the day. Liver, with brown gravy and mashed potatoes and stuff. But chicken on a bone, there was something about that freaked me out. Maybe I saw too many dogs get hit by cars with bleeding or something, too many dead birds growing up as a kid.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking
Couldn't
about
do it.
here.
I just couldn't do my mom's fried chicken.
You ate your mom's liver. Is this before or
No,
after she?
no. She made liver. I
Oh,
used to eat liver as a kid. I used to eat real liver
got you. And
and
you'd
didn't
go
have a
eat.
problem with that.
You'd go eat your friend's meat instead of eating at home.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm following here.
She made great
Fine.
meatloaf too. She made my mom great meatloaf.
Meatloaf, beetloaf. I
Love
hate
meatloaf.
meatloaf.
You don't like
All right.
meatloaf? You're not
Yeah,
a meatloaf guy?
that's fine. It's fine. I'll eat meatloaf once a year, and I'll be like, "This is good," but I'm not going to eat this more than once this
That's
year.
it? Once a year meatloaf?
That's it. Yeah, that's all you need.
We got to take you to Golden Corral.
All right, you've lost all privileges to talk about restaurants. Oh my God. All right, we'll take your thoughts. Go to text line 512-222-9328. Yes, we still see these texts. Appreciate y'all chiming in. Apparently, there's a golden chick coming to Drip in the not too distant future. Someone just texted
Really?
that in on the code of
Sweet.
text line. So be on the lookout for that. We've got some news to get into. Talk a little Texas baseball before we get out of here. But before we shift gears, Buck, how about a few more sponsor shout outs?
So our friends, it is Tuesday, so you know what that means for me. Got to have that Hat Creek Burger Company burger. Now, I'm not playing golf today. This is a week off of golf. So, although I did go to the PGA store yesterday and pick up a driver.
Whoa.
Sorry about that. No, that's right. And I did not pay 7 or 8 bills for it either. Did not do that. I found one that fits me just right at the PGA store. I snuck off there after watching Pebble Beach and watching them hit it left to right with the wind. Figure I got to get one that I can hit a little bit left to right, a little fade in there. So it is on. But Hat Creek Burger, it is time for the double with cheese today. Straight up fries. No milkshake. Week off from the milkshake. Sorry about that, kids. No milkshake for you today. But mom and dad, if you're looking for a place to not only have breakfast at some locations at 7 a.m., look to have a cocktail in the evenings at Hat Creek Burger where you can get a nice margarita or a cocktail there while the kids are playing on the playscape. But for me, it's about that burger. I'm the big hat guy now. I'm doubling up. And now I also found out that, you know what? Even though it's getting warm out, I can still have some of that Hat Creek Burger Company chili. Delicious.
Dude, they have also added, this is a seasonal special, and I'm so intrigued by this. I'm going to have to get there this week to give it a go. The ultimate pizza burger.
What?
2 all-beef patties, pepperoni slices, shredded mozzarella, and Italian spices topped with pizza sauce on a buttery, garlicky pretzel bun.
Ooh.
I'm so intrigued by this. Maybe it's a one and done for me. Maybe I get it every time I go, and I'm begging for them to never take it off the menu. Because
Nice.
I like burgers and I like pizza.
Oh my
So
God.
combination of both. I'm giving this a go this week. I'll report back and let you know how it is.
And how close are we to the lentil season now?
Well, today's Fat Tuesday, so it starts tomorrow.
Ooh. Wait a minute. So is Friday I've got to have some fresh cod from McDonald's, from Mickey D's?
Well, you're the expert. This is not my religion, so you tell me.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. It's gonna go. Yeah.
I'm going to join you. I'm going to join you this year. I mean, tomorrow it's going to be a segment on the show. We got to figure out what we're giving up for Lent. I'm going to join you on something this year, as long as it's not considered cultural appropriation. I don't want anybody mad at me for stealing anybody else's bit, but I'm going to try something this year. I got to figure out what it is.
I've never had gefilte fish.
Yeah, you don't need that.
You're not gonna demand I have some of that?
No.
Is it nasty?
It's not good at all. Some people love it.
They love it?
Yeah, love it.
I mean, is there something you put on it? Do you put Tata sauce on it?
Maybe you can, but usually you just eat it cold out of the jar.
Out of the jar? Like pig's feet, like the pickled pig's feet I used to eat as a kid?
Yeah, like that.
Oh.
Jar. It's a big part of our Passover holiday, which is coming up in a couple of months. But
dude, I grew up eating pickles pig feet.
Nasty. All right, that's enough. That's enough food talk.
Gefilte
fish and pickled. Well, you're talking about good food at Hat Creek. Let's not talk about bad food.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm talking about my mom's chicken, but I also grew up eating pig's feet, pickled pig feet. That's nasty.
Nasty. All right. Also, a shout out to our friends at Sleep Cycle Center. Hey, if you're dealing with snoring, if you're having trouble falling or staying asleep, if you wake up tired, if you're drowsy throughout the day, go see our friend Dr. Chad and his great team at Sleep Cycle Center. Maybe sleep apnea. More than 22 million Americans have undiagnosed sleep apnea, and this is a serious problem. Buck, this is what killed NFL Hall of Famer Reggie White.
Yes.
He died in his sleep. He couldn't breathe because of his sleep apnea. Dr. Chad actually started Sleep Cycle Center after losing his own father to undiagnosed Sleep Cycle Center. So it's a cause that means a lot to him. They do great work, and they can help make your snoring and sleeping problems a thing of the past. And it's not just CPAP. They have so many different ways to treat this. They can get you fitted for an oral appliance. It's basically like a mouth guard. Smaller, more comfortable, more portable than traditional CPAPs. They have cutting-edge technology, and they're going to come up with something personalized for you to get you taken care of. 2 locations around the Austin area. One up north, 183 in Breaker. The other in Lakeway off of 620. If you mention this show, you're going to get $100 off an at-home sleep study. Real savings on the first step toward better sleep, better health, and better energy every day. Go to sleepcyclecenters.com for more info.
Sweet. Anything that can help you get a little bit of rest and the person beside you getting a little bit of rest, like I didn't get last night because the birthday girl had it going on, tearing up my ear with those weird sounds.
You got to get
I wasn't
her
causing
over
real.
Chat.
Yeah, I know it. So if I die in my sleep, it'll be because she's choked me. So you guys need to understand that.
Oh, it won't be sleep apnea for you.
No. It's just like I told you. If there was a gun accident, that's not an accident, y'all.
No, it will have been planned right there.
It would have been planned out. Yes.
Oh my
For
gosh.
sure.
That's great. So shout out to Sleep Cycle Center. Also shout out to McCall Custom Homes. If you want to upgrade your home this year, new kitchen, new bathroom, new life to your outdoor space, maybe just new space in general. Or if you want to start from scratch, right? They're custom home builders as well. So they can literally get you going from day one. Or, hey, you bought your current place for a reason. You just want to upgrade it instead of dealing with the hassle of buying and selling in this crazy market right now. reach out to our friend Mike McCall at McCall Custom Homes, 512-633-9580. That's his cell number. He'll take care of you. Or you can go to his website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com. Free estimates to Bucky and BK listeners right now. I think they're coming out to your place today, Buck.
Yeah, Mike's
coming
out. When the show's over, Mike will be here. We got some things we want to take care of, and he does just that. He takes care of them, and he takes care of them in a hurry, folks.
Yeah.
Love this dude. He's great.
Great people. Great people. Big Longhorn fans, big supporters of us. And, yeah, they will take care of whatever you need done to your home. McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com.
See any more commercials with your lawyer friends? You see anybody doing any no slalom skiing from the guys that are out there doing nothing for their law firms, just having commercials and enjoying the Olympics?
Figure skating, slaloms, bobsled,
bobsleds,
curling, whatever's next. All these jabronis just filming commercials, not helping you win your cases.
No.
In the courtroom. They're bragging about all this money that they've made, and all that money, it's not going in your pocket. It's going to these crappy commercials. So Hecht Law Firm is trying to get money for you. You know, you're the one who got hurt. You're the one who suffered the personal injury. Shouldn't you be the person making some money?
There you go.
He ain't driving around in a Rolls Royce. He ain't getting on private jets. I can tell you that. Why? Because he is in the courtroom fighting for you. Hurricane Hecht, Ryan Hurricane Hecht, my good buddy, the best personal injury attorney in Central Texas, 512-938-8929. Find out more at hechtlawfirm.com.
Sweet.
Okay. Real quick, Texas baseball back in action tonight, 5 o'clock first pitch, the earliest midweek game start time I can recall, but Texas taking on that dude Lamar at the Dish. Jason Flores will get his first start of the year for the Longhorns. He was the midweek guy last year, and it seems, at least to begin the season, he is going to be the midweek guy this year. Lamar is 2-1 on the season. They won their opening series against Oakland. These two teams played one time last year. Texas won 9-3 here in Austin. The Longhorns have won 5 straight in this series. They are 36-7 all time against Kendrick Lamar.
Good.
So hopefully Texas gets a win. Hopefully Flores looks good. Hopefully the pitching staff continues to pound the zone. And I'm curious to see what the starting lineup looks like tonight, to see if we get a few more faces in the mix. Will Jonah Williams make his 2026 debut? We will all find out together later this afternoon. And congrats to Dylan Volantis, named SEC Co-Pitcher of the Week.
It didn't take long for him to jump right in there again.
Yeah, right. First career start as a no through 5 innings, 7 innings pitched, 1 unearned run allowed, 8 strikeouts. He was fantastic against UC Davis on Sunday. Talked about it yesterday. It's unfair that Texas can trot that dude in a series finale. That is a big-time deal right there, and he is a big-time player. All right. How about this, Buck? New segment here.
Okay.
Let's see if this works. Maybe we need a sounder or something. How about the BBK News? Heard about the BBC?
Yeah.
Well, BBK, Bucky and BK. The BBK News here. And we'll get into some funny stories here. We'll also get into some news stories here. We got to let the people know exactly what is going on in this world that we live in.
Well, we have some airport stories probably.
We'll have some airport stories here.
Okay.
We'll have some local news stories. We're all about Central Texas here on this show, but we'll also have some important things to talk about around the world as well. And maybe we start the first ever BBK news segment with what's going on at the Olympics right now. No, not the competition. We're talking about off the ice. Italy apparently supplied 10,000 condoms to the Olympic Village this year. They ran out of stock in 3 days. There are nearly 2,800 athletes there. I'll let you do the math here. 10,000 condoms, 2,800 athletes, 3 days. We're fresh out.
None available?
None available. No.
Not even at your local gas station?
I'm sure you could go to a 7-Eleven or whatever they have out there and get you some, but like they're supplying this, right?
Oh, you said they're running out of supplies, but the locals have some.
Well, maybe, but they're in the Olympic Village. I don't know how often they're like leaving all their places, right? They're playing sports, they're doing their training, they're getting ready for competition. I don't know how much.
Right. They're housed right there. They have food right there.
I mean,
they don't get to go on sightseeing trips. They went on sightseeing trips before this all started.
It feels like this is a story for every Olympics, right?
Yes, it's the second time I've heard it back to back.
I think this always happens. And when you get this many athletes in their athletic primes, and these are all late teens, 20s, 30s people.
Yeah.
When you get all of them coming off of years of intense training that has just culminated in the competition of their life work, surrounded by thousands of fellow athletes from nearly 100 different countries who they'll probably never have to see again in their lives.
Yes.
You would think that that's a perfect recipe for casual, protected intercourse. You would think that, I don't know, they're going to have like infinite condoms just to make sure that everyone's protected here, to make sure we don't get too much tomfoolery going on. That's the lazy take. My take, everyone's mad at Italy here, but real ball knowers know that Italy is doing this right. I commend Italy for their lack of condoms. Yeah, the Olympics are a great time to celebrate sports that we usually don't care about. They should also be a time to create a fleet of super athletes in the next generation.
Oh,
that's what I'm looking for.
You looking for new bobsledders, are you? New hockey players?
I'm looking for babies. I mean, these are almost genetically modified. You're getting the best athletes across the world, doing it with each other. Think about the kids, what kind of athletes they are going to be. This is great, is it not?
There's other things without that protected sex that goes on. There's some things that can happen.
I get it. I don't want any STDs out there, but the risk reward here, I'm trying to see Olympic records go down.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see, and I'm hoping, most of these are Americans and they choose to raise their kids as Americans. So this can lead to more medals for us in the future. But I'm trying to see like the elitist of the elite athletes in the world. Probably love these sports because you see the very best at what they do in the universe, all competing. I'm trying to see more of that moving forward.
Yeah, I like the thought of it, but there's just some of it, they won't be born in the United States, so there'll be some passport issues and things like that.
Who says they won't be born in the United States? They're not getting born in the 2 weeks that the Olympics are going on. You think they're all born in Italy?
There's a few issues with that. I'm worried about that.
He's got AIDS.
Is that what you're worried about?
Yeah, I mean, there's, guys will have some women that won't be coming back here too, that will still remain in other countries that'll have a hard time getting in here possibly. So who knows?
Okay.
You're shooting for the women. The women will be fine.
Sure. And look, I'd prefer them to be American, but I still enjoy watching other countries compete in the Olympics as well. So I'm just telling you,
as long as they're winning bronze and no medals, that's fine.
We talk about it all the time. Like what? Aaron Ross, Sonia Richards-Ross, they're married, they've got kids. It's like you offer those kids a scholarship right out of the womb.
You're right there at the hospital.
I'm looking for some of those, And other sports, obviously, with the Winter Olympics, but athletes are athletes, man. Just because dad's a skier doesn't mean kid can't play basketball.
Very interesting, BK.
Yeah. So that's what I'm rooting for here. So shout out to Italy. Everyone is like so mad at them. Oh, how do they run out of condoms? They know what they're doing. Future.
The Americans haven't run out of condoms. They've brought cases of them with them.
You think we brought our own?
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay.
The village may not have there, but there's individuals that brought a suitcase. They've got luggage just was filled with them.
Interesting. All right. Well, other stories on the BBK news here today. A couple of unfortunate deaths to talk about here. Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away at the age of 84.
This morning?
Yeah, overnight. civil rights pioneer, Baptist minister, ran for U.S. president twice, and also once appeared on a radio program that you did?
Yes, I interviewed him. Went to my father's college, North Carolina A&T.
Is that interview somewhere? Can we find that?
We may be able to get that. Well, the building that we did that out of, they've closed that down. The lights went out and the doors got locked. So
Yeah, I don't think they're letting any of us in there anymore.
No, probably not. You probably can't grab that interview.
I ain't paying that 2 years of rent that they didn't pay. I can tell you that. That ain't coming out of my pocket, sir.
Oh boy, I don't think you can get back into that facility.
No, that's interesting that you got to talk to him. That should go on his headstone. That's his greatest accomplishment. The fact that he
got a chance to talk to Ed Godbold's son.
Where was that? Was that with Bob Cole back in the day? How long ago was that?
That was actually at the Horn.
Interesting. Oh, with Aaron?
Yeah.
Huh. The more you know. Well, R.I.P. to the Reverend Jesse Jackson. He was hospitalized in November after living over a decade with progressive supranuclear palsy, which is a disease that impacts ability to walk and swallow and has dangerous complications. He's been dealing with Parkinson's since 2017, so he's had a lot of health complications, and unfortunately, they got to him. So R.I.P. to him.
84 is a good age.
How about 95?
That's a great age.
American actor and filmmaker. I'm worried about number 3. They say death comes in threes. We've gotten 2 pretty famous deaths in recent days, with Robert Duvall passing away at the age of 95. That was Sunday night into Monday. 7 Academy Award nominations. He's named Best Actor for his role in Tender Mercies. You a fan of that one, Buck?
Yes, I'm a fan of that one. I'm a fan of The Godfather.
Yeah, part of the first 2 Godfathers, and was smart enough to not want to do Godfather 3.
Yes.
He must have seen the plot and the script and was like, you want me in that? No, I'm actually a good actor. I ain't doing that shit.
No.
You know what I watched last night?
What was that?
Movie I never heard of, never seen. Tender Mercies.
Did you like it?
I had no idea what that was. I was like, I knew who Robert Duvall was. I've seen The Godfathers. I've seen some of his other work, and I'm like, all right.
You had to see some of his cowboy movies.
Yeah, apparently this is some of this guy's best work. This is what won him Best Actor, so I got to check this out. Right? Solid movie. Did a good job.
You sat through it and made it?
Sat through it, yeah, a little longer than I anticipated.
Oh boy!
But it was. I mean, I was getting some work done too while watching.
95 years young.
Yeah, 95 years young, but good movie. That was. I enjoyed that one. So R.I.P. to Robert Duvall. Other news here, Buck. Law enforcement officials seized more than 200 dogs in Dallas last week. We have the largest alleged dogfight bust in the history of the great state of Texas.
Wow.
According to posts on DPD social media pages, officers executed search warrants at dozens of locations in Dallas as part of an animal cruelty and dogfighting investigation dubbed Operation Fight Club.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't up in the Frisco area, no?
I don't know. It's 12 locations. It sounds like it was all over the Metroplex. Over 200 dogs were confiscated, 21 rifles, 26 pistols, 11 shotguns.
Damn.
500 grams of cocaine and marijuana.
Got to have that.
Fentanyl pills.
Wow.
Along with paraphernalia tied to dogfighting, including treadmills and chains. All that stuff was scooped up by authorities. No names just yet, but police has told us
that Harry Hines, up on Harry Hines there.
Yeah, probably. Arrest for dogfighting and additional crimes will be announced as a part of the investigation process.
Man, oh man.
Are we able to bet on that? Dogfighting? Is that out there yet?
No, you can't do that. Dog racing, greyhounds.
Greyhound racing, yeah.
Not dogfighting. We don't do that, Michael Vick.
We're not about that life.
No, we're not about that.
I'm not a proponent of it. I think it's horrible to do that, but it's already happening. Shouldn't we be able to make a few bones on it?
No, I remember at one time I'd like to go to see a cockfight.
Did you go?
No, I don't. I just can't run fast enough to get out of the. When things start to go down, I can't escape now. So that ended once once my back went bad, my thought of going to one of those and jumping fences and headed off through the fields, that was over with. Back in my younger times, BK, I could get over a fence, one hop a fence, and be gone. I'd be out of there, out of sight. Not anymore.
Should have gone.
I'd be the guy in the Uber. Hey, pick me up here. But I
don't think you want people knowing your location if you're attending a cockfight, sir.
Tell them here's where.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is like literally put out in the public. No, here's exactly where I am right now. You're going to get murdered if you do that because that Uber driver is going to call the cops and everyone's getting arrested and then you're a dead man. So maybe don't do that.
Uber drivers don't squeal. They don't talk.
Oh, sure. Okay.
They don't. They have their motto is we don't talk. You pay, we don't talk.
Yeah, well, you might be right. Depending on how much you tip that driver, maybe you could get away with a little something, but I wouldn't be telling people where you were for that. Oh, man. All right, real quick. Birthdays. Michael Jordan, 63 today. Speaking of things you can bet on, he has definitely bet on dogfighting in his life.
You think so? Somewhere, somehow?
Yeah, I have zero doubt in my mind that he has done that. Paris Hilton, 46.
46.
Yeah.
Wow.
The great Denise Richards, 55. Larry the Cable Guy, 63. Never understood that bit. Way to go, 90s. Lou Diamond Phillips, speaking of actors, 64.
I was going to say he's got to be late 60s. 64, though. Huh?
The great Rene Russo, 72.
Still hot.
Always overrated from a looks department, but a very good actress for my money. I couldn't figure out why your generation thought she was so hot. Case Keenum, Texans legend, 38. And Vikings legend, 38. Born on this day, now dead, Jim Brown. Would have been 90 if he was still alive.
90 years old, huh?
One of the absolute worst human beings who ever lived. But nobody talks about how much of a POS he was because he was very good at football.
He was bad on women. I know that.
Was about as bad as you could possibly be to women. But the legendary Jim Brown, may he rest in peace. He was, I'm sure he wasn't the first athlete who was like, we just overlooked off the field stuff because he was good at sport, but he's one of the best at that.
He's in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he's in the Hall. I mean, it's obviously happened forever and it continues to happen. We just overlook off the field, off the court stuff.
He made it to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's one of the best running backs of all time. There's no doubt.
If not the best, which I still have my problems with. So,
Walter Payton's your number one, right?
No, my greatest football player of all time is Gale Sayers.
Gale Sayers.
Period.
Yep.
Period. Gale Sayers.
Mine is O.J. Simpson, but that's more off the field related than on.
Yes.
Oh my God! All right, so that will do it. There's the BBK news for a Tuesday show, and we will be back tomorrow at 9. Thank you all so much,
buddy.
Great show, Buck. We'll see you tomorrow, my man.
All right, hook 'em.
Appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all have a good one. Hook 'em.